Okay, everybody. Good evening.
We're not on.
I think there's usually a delay that you'll hit there, so should be good to go. Maybe refresh. Okay. Let us know if you can see us out there. If you hear us. This is Everett. We're with the natives, the Villages, Florida.
We're just checking to see if we're on.
Yeah, and we're doing just checking on the.
Yeah. Now I'm in a commercial.
Okay. All right.
I'm in a commercial.
It looks like we got 9
There
folks
we go.
watching. Okay. All right.
There we are.
Here we are.
Yeah, turn the volume down.
Okay, turn your volumes down. Okay. All right. We're here. Good to see everybody.
Hey, guys.
Hi.
All right. So amateur hour here upon you. Here again, I'm Everett, and wait a minute. Where's she at? She's not here. She's not here. We miss her.
Where's April?
April is well, she's not missing because we know where she is. So she's not with us. But she was at the dock today and she's trying to recover. So remember her in your prayers. I think she got some good meds and she's going to get over this. You can probably notice if you're listening to me, you're probably thinking his voice sounds a little different. Yep. So it's the gift that keeps on giving. Somebody gave it to me, I gave it to her, and she's kind of trailing me a little bit. So I'm a little farther along with her. But we're here. We're glad you're here. Thanks so much for joining us. And we are looking forward to tonight. We've got our normal folks, our live roundtable crew, Rick and Angel.
Hey, guys.
Hey.
And Paul and Donna.
Hello.
Hi, guys.
Okay, it's great to have them. And we've got quite a subject tonight, don't we?
Yes,
Oh,
we
yeah.
do.
So boy,
We've even debated amongst ourselves
Yeah.
about this one.
yeah, we have.
More than a
Which
few times.
one?
Yeah, yeah, and you know what's the best bang for your buck? You know, new versus pre-owned here in the Villages. There's a lot going on with it, right? So we're going to be talking about that tonight, and we definitely want to hear from you, your questions, and your comments, or your experience, or your observation. Okay, so or your intentions, right? Some of you know what you got going. So we're looking forward to that. A couple of things. One thing I do want to mention here is that we will send you these notes. So we've got a lot of slides that you'll see, and so you don't have to worry about feverishly copying these notes. We'll send them to you in a PDF format. So just email us there, thevillagesnatives@gmail.com. We'll shoot that out to you. Okay. So that'll take a little pressure off maybe. And also we have a nice disclaimer here for you. Thanks, Paul, for the good reminder. And in my best legalese, I've crafted this to let you know that these are our opinions and experiences.
Yeah.
Okay. And we're not professionals. All right. But we are seasoned, right?
Not related to the Villages in any way. We just
There
live
you go.
here and we have opinions.
Lots of
Exactly.
opinions.
So
But we have a lot of fun.
Yeah.
we do. We do have a lot of fun. So
There's opinions about that too.
yeah. So get your questions and everything ready. And here again, we're looking forward to moving forward. We've got a lot to go over. So I think we're going to go ahead and get started. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll
Go
shout
for
out
it.
a couple of people here
Okay.
real quick.
Good deal. Thank you.
Kim and Steve. Hey, it was great meeting you guys at Boozy Bingo a couple of weeks ago.
Yep.
And see Lisa here. We
Okay.
went and we're trying to pick you out a house. We went looking today.
Man.
Well.
And,
Oh, yeah.
A shout out to Bobby, our fellow New Englander up in Rhode Island.
Oh yeah.
We're
Yeah.
at Sabami, 43 degrees right now.
Whoa.
He was the winner of the newest,
The newest
person in the village.
He was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was great meeting you.
I think he had closed 2 days before, I think.
I think so.
Yeah, I think it was
Yeah.
like 2
It's
days
coming
before.
down in June.
Uh-huh.
I think he said June 2nd
So-
or 4th.
Mark,
Yeah.
glad to have you here.
Yeah. So good to see everybody. And thanks for the well wishes for April. She really appreciates it. And I think she's watching. But
Hi,
We miss
April.
you.
yeah. Okay, so we're going to kind of talk about our experience, okay, in each couple. I'll speak for us and April and I, and then we're going to kind of get into looking at some trends of the market, what's going on right now, and then we're going to do some comparing, contrasting new versus pre-owned. So that's kind of the road ahead. So that's where we're going to go tonight. Really looking forward to this. So we're going to throw up some slides periodically. And so you can see this, and then we'll pull it down so you can see our lovely faces, right? When we're discussing. So we'll compare them back and forth, and I'm going to try to be better managing this time. I'm learning, right? I'm learning. Okay, so this here is our house, April and my house, as it is like today, right? And after all the upgrades that we've done to this point, which you can see a few here, landscaping and a few things like that. But we're going to talk just briefly about our buying experience. And I went back to one of our early videos, like a while back, where we talked about our buying experience.
Yeah.
And so I kind of
And those are popular videos back then.
very popular videos. And a lot of people were really appreciative of those and watched them. So just kind of boil it down. Originally, we were looking at, so you can see the house. I'm going to switch back to, you can see yes. So originally, we were looking between the sixes, okay, between 466 and 466A, very popular area for pre-owned. Still a very popular area. Just Lake Central Landing and south, okay, going down. And because those were some of the areas that we were used to growing up. Okay, and that were important to us. They're also good access to shopping, things like that. So originally we were looking in that direction, and then we began to realize that we might want to look at a newer home, because a lot of those homes were needing roof replacements, other things like that, which involved a lot of money. So we then began to say, okay, we're going to go south of 44, State Road 44, which is kind of, wouldn't y'all say that's kind of the dividing line between new?
Yeah.
I would say so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Fairly
fair.
new.
Yeah, I think that's generally a kind of a demarcation line there between what's new and considered older.
Yeah.
Okay.
Brownwood is right on
Yep.
44.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of a,
Yeah.
if you've been here before,
Good marker.
Mhm.
that's a good marker.
Yeah. So that was, as far as location, we're like, okay, that big location was a big shift for us. And then we narrowed it to really one floor plan. We've been looking at multiple floor plans. We narrowed down to one floor plan, which is the same as in Indigo, which you guys have,
Yeah.
Ottawa veranda model, which is what we have, an Oriole model, and I think that's all the iterations of it.
Yeah.
That's
in our
enough.
home, the Indigo was just the how they described the layout at the time.
Layout.
Yes.
They simply changed it. It's the
Mhm.
same layout. They just changed the name.
Same layout,
Yeah.
change the name.
Yep.
Yeah, and exactly. So, welcome to Name Games at the Villages.
I think they're making an effort to make it easier.
They are.
They're calling them
Season
like a
Fs.
Kingfisher
C.
F and a Kingfisher C.
Oh,
Yes.
C for
Yep.
concrete. F
Oh
for
yeah,
frame.
that's easier.
Oh,
That's
Frame
that's
easier.
construction.
easier,
Yeah.
right? They're finally
easier
back to
than-
that now.
Yeah.
So it's,
What was it? The Iris and.
I don't know. It's
It was
changed.
Yeah,
There's names everywhere, and
yeah. We saw an agent not long ago, and he still had his book of the name conversions
we've seen
Right.
them.
for all the
Yeah.
models.
Try to
And they
remember.
got pictures,
Yeah.
and
It
this
just
really
is,
means
yeah,
this,
just cheat
and-
sheet. So we narrowed it down to that. And one of the big reasons for us, and I'll mention this, because here again, we wanted the second or we went into the third bedroom, separate from the second bedroom. So we could have an office that
Yeah.
was independent,
So,
Yeah.
and wasn't behind a closed door with the second bedroom, which
Yeah.
is very important and has worked very well. And then we decided, we began to look at kind of the new home. We said, okay, what if, because we weren't able to find for the price we wanted to pay, a pre-owned home with that model.
Mhm.
Okay. So then we began to look at new. And then it kind of came down to these three final options, which I'll mention to you. So a pre-owned south of State Road 44, okay, anywhere in that area south of 44, or wait for a new one in the Eastport area, because here again, we were looking fall of 23, okay? So East wasn't open yet, okay? The Moultrie Creek area had been announced, but they weren't building there yet.
Yeah.
And then, so it was either wait for that or go for where they were building new at the time, which was what's actually known as the villages of Westlake. Okay. It's the village of Newell, Lake Denham, and Dabney.
Yeah.
And so we're looking at new in that. And we obviously found one in Lake Denham, verandas that worked for us. Ottawa model, 3-bedroom, 3-bath, 1886 square foot. Corner lot, love it. Wouldn't trade a thing.
Well, the verandas were good for you because you have the dogs.
They
too.
do, yes, thank
Right.
you.
Yeah.
And that was one of
Yeah.
one of our
The
must-haves.
Yeah.
So,
Because fences are not here.
I'm sorry.
Fences are not put up here.
No.
Like we were
Right.
used to up north.
Yeah.
Right. No.
Yeah,
That,
yeah, and
that was your.
yeah. If you don't have a fence from the developer,
Right.
You
don't
cannot
You're not
have
gonna
a
have a
fence.
fence.
Right. Right.
Cannot have a fence.
yeah, not gonna have a fence. So, so that's kind of our experience and the result there.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're looking at that. So let's move on. So let's go to Rick and Angel. Okay. And what about y'all's experience?
So ours, we came down and met with Tiffany Hagee, sorry, Tiffany, about 2 years before buying. And there was zero pressure, wonderful to work with, gave us
She
some
was.
information and never made us feel like a burden, even though we were 2 years out and planned on it being a second home. We looked at pre-owned and turnkey, and that was pretty appealing. And then,
But for the price
Yeah.
point, though, that's we decided to go with new because we could get in cheaper and then just do the upgrades as we go.
And you guys are
and-
young enough too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah. And so that was, it's really nice going into a pre-owned neighborhood and all the mature
Yeah.
shrubs and
Yeah.
no construction vehicles and
Yeah.
Right.
but for our prices we were keeping
Yeah.
both homes.
Mhm.
So and then we took a little
Changed
bit
your
bigger
mind.
gulp of the Kool-Aid and
You got here, drank the Kool-Aid and said, we're going to live here full
Yeah,
time.
we did.
it
It
lasted
didn't
about
take long.
3
Yeah.
weeks.
That
and
second home
then-
became the home.
We're just going to keep it, but we ended up buying a tall pine, framed, not concrete.
Mhm.
And how many square feet do we have?
I think it's around a little over 1,400.
Yeah, it's probably about 1,500, I would
Yep,
say
yep,
here.
yep.
Yeah.
And
It's a 3-bedroom,
Yeah.
2-bath.
Yeah.
And what was funny, you mentioned, Everett, that you guys wanted the bedrooms that were separated.
Right.
For us, we wanted 2 of the bedrooms
Right.
together.
Yeah.
Together.
And
yeah.
so as we're explaining this to Tiffany and other agents, they're saying, you guys need to look at a tall pine. So our goal with that was to make the front room a sitting area.
Right.
And for our daughter that's still in college, she comes back home pretty frequently. So that gives her like her own little suite.
That gives you a
that-
good, you have a great option.
Right. Yep. So the Villages is really, really good about. There's
Knowing what you
a
want.
plan out there.
Wow.
Right.
That's going to fit, what you need or what you
You're
want.
And a lot of the new homes are similar and they're just tweaked a little bit.
Mhm.
And they have a constant Rolodex in their mind. And they're like,
Yeah.
we kept looking at one plan and she's like, okay, for what you want, we need to get you into a tall pine. And when we saw that slider door, pocket door, and it would give her her own suite.
Yeah, her own
it was
privacy.
perfect. Yeah.
And give you guys privacy.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Mhm.
That's
So she basically
She likes to
has
go
a
to bed a
room
little
and
later
a
than we
den
do.
and-
So-
yeah, in a bathroom.
Right.
I mean, it's a perfect. That's what I loved about these houses. They have that pocket door for
Yeah.
what we consider our guest room.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And, I will say one thing during our buying process that surprised us. We had a floor plan in mind that we had looked at and just really liked it until we went to the Street of Dreams and we saw it with furniture, and it wasn't what we had envisioned. Once
We're visual.
Isn't that
people,
funny?
so we're like, no, it's not. It's
so we decided against that after seeing it with furniture
for our needs at the time.
Yeah.
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 So it worked.
So it's funny. Traditionally
You're right.
you expect to get a pre-owned home that's less expensive, and a lot of things are
The pre-owns aren't
different.
less
Yeah,
expensive.
the assumption would have been, but
Yeah.
Yeah,
here the new ones are.
yeah.
Yeah.
So that's so yeah,
We're
that's
closed in 30 days
closed in 30 days.
on the dot.
Wow.
Yeah, we
Closed remotely. Don't do that if you don't have to, because we missed the sign where you stand and the bubbles
Well,
and
we
the,
did too.
the bells
We
and
did too.
all of the good things that happen. You need to experience that, because when you drink the Kool-Aid here, it's part of that. And they can't rewind, and the sign only stays up.
For a day.
A day.
And
so
I think it's like 2 or 3 days tops.
they sell so many
Because,
homes they
yeah,
have to
yeah.
switch it.
Yeah.
That's a couple of comments on here
Mhm.
about the warranty, and we're going to get into that a little bit
Mhm.
later. Of one of the advantages of buying a new home, and that's definitely one of them. And really, Angela and I were talking about it this morning and going through some of our paperwork, and we're coming up on our 1 year mark. And one thing that we hadn't really thought about was you get a 7-year structural warranty with the house, and
Mhm.
2 years for
Appliances.
I think
Appliances,
mechanical stuff. I think
mechanical.
electric
Yeah,
is like
mechanicals.
2 years.
yeah,
in 1 year.
so
is-
which was a little
They give you so much information when you close, and you're so hyped up and excited. You
Right.
put everything in a yellow envelope, and if you have any questions, but we've been digging through
Yeah.
that.
Mark's asking you guys a question, that they like the tall pine also. Did you have another option that you decided against when you said tall pine was best for you?
well
There's so-
I was a little hesitant about putting out the model that didn't work for us, but since the question came up, we were looking at the sassafras.
Yeah, we really like the sassafras.
Mhm.
And we really liked it. And after we saw it with furniture, we ended up liking the tall pine a little more.
Mhm.
Tall
but-
pine is more open. Than,
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing.
Yeah.
I was every time I come in here, it
Yeah.
just feels
Oh,
a
yeah,
lot
it's
bigger than
very open,
1,400
yeah.
something square
Right.
foot.
But we
That's
used
what
it-
we wanted.
Yeah,
was
we used to
light.
get a house about 1,500 square feet. I think it looks a lot big. It feels a lot bigger
It
than
sure
that.
does.
Right.
Yeah, it's
Very
not cramped
spacious.
at all.
Yeah.
And by the way, thank you to Rick and Angel because they're hosting us. this
Yeah,
week.
thanks
Yeah.
guys.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
they are.
Each of the live shows,
That's,
we've been in each other's homes so far. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Spreading the love.
That's
Thank you guys.
Angel didn't want to be here.
Yeah.
April didn't want to come.
Yeah.
That's Mindy actually brought
Yep.
up a good point too.
Mhm.
Is
They looked at New Orleans and
With-
down.
with the
Gaffney.
with purchasing a pre-owned home, the seller actually gave them a 1-year warranty
Yep.
through
Mhm.
a third party
Yep.
warranty service. So,
Yeah.
and we've done that before
Yeah.
in the past, and it's made some claims with it, and it worked really well. So I appreciate you bringing that up, Mindy.
And she says that they had a claim on the AC compressor
Yeah.
within that year.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So it took care of that's a big deal.
yeah,
And
absolutely.
you're right, Mindy. You can always ask. There's
Mhm.
negotiable with pre-owned. That's another
Mhm.
huge
Yeah.
perk. Is when
Yeah.
the villages sell you a new home, it's that price.
Right. Yeah.
And
Mhm.
that closing date. If you change it on your end, they charge you per day.
Right.
But sometimes they'll tweak their end. But that price is pretty solid.
We had to change ours.
Oh yeah.
So
Mhm. Yeah. Okay. So what else, guys? That's a great rundown.
Yeah, that pretty much wraps it up for us.
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Awesome. So we're going to shift over to Paul and Donna and give you a glimpse of their beautiful home.
Is our humble abode.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Well, why are we here?
Well, we bought a pre-owned home.
Yay.
We're both 75 years old, and we did not want to have to design another house. We've already built 2 homes in Massachusetts from the ground up, and we had no desire to go through construction again.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay.
And before we get into more of ours, another point about pre-owned versus new.
Mhm.
Pre-owned within its own description, it can be defined by how many years old is this structure.
Right.
In our
Okay.
case,
That's a great
yeah,
point.
we bought a house, it was only 2 years old. So
Yeah.
to us, it was like virtually brand new.
Brand new.
Mhm.
Now that's a heck of a lot different than folks that are buying a pre-owned that may be further north up to Lake Sumter or up into Spanish Springs, where
Spanish
now you're looking at
Springs, yeah.
homes that are 15, 20, 25, 30 years old,
Right.
where there's all other factors to consider. So we're very fortunate that we did buy pre-owned.
Yeah.
Because, well, you want to talk about some of the things that we
And
found?
we actually have the same house that Everett and
Yeah.
April
Mhm.
have, only
Yep.
a mirror image of
Yep,
it.
it's an
Yep.
exact same floor plan.
But
just
what we
flipped up.
loved about it, as soon as we pulled into the driveway to look at, we went to an open house. That's how we bought our house.
Yeah.
We didn't do
Tell us
the
how many
light.
homes that you looked at.
We didn't look at any.
We looked at one
One.
home.
The
folks.
right.
Right.
That's
We
I knew
walked-
the answer
and
to
we-
that
It's
one.
an open house.
And we didn't go into the open house only because it was an open house. We were just killing
Just
time.
killing
And
time.
said, oh,
Right.
gee, we'll go in there and look at it. And that's where we
All
live.
the
so.
stories.
Yeah. But for the many features we wanted
Mhm.
were already done. Water filtration, upgraded refrigerator,
Yep.
painted driveway, which I love. It has the big compass rose in the middle and then by
Yes,
the
nice.
door. I
Yep.
love that. Attractive home landscaping. They actually, in the backyard, they actually put evergreens in between the other 2 houses. So we have plenty of privacy.
Yeah, a moment ago, we
Plus
said you
we have
can't.
Plus we have the wall in the back.
A moment ago, we said you cannot put up a fence unless it's been
Right.
installed by the villages. You cannot put up a fence.
Right.
But the previous owner was allowed to put up evergreens.
Right.
So it's a natural barrier. So
Mhm.
while it isn't completely fenced in, it gives us tremendous privacy.
And then we got instant hot water in our kitchen sink, the oversized garage, epoxy floors in the garage and lanai. Previous owner doubled the size of the outside patio. So that was a plus
Yeah.
for us.
A lot
And
of things.
and being 2 years old, it was like brand
It
new
was
for
all
us.
brand new.
Yeah.
Well,
It was
you
just
know,
one couple that lived there.
Yeah.
They did a great job upgrading everything.
Yeah.
And decided to build a much larger house out of the bubble. They now live in Ocala
Yeah.
on a golf course.
And the other thing we
And they didn't
loved,
scrimp on anything.
Right.
So we were quite fortunate.
and the other thing we loved, there was no, ongoing construction.
Right.
And we're in an established neighborhood. We already knew what the neighborhood was going to look like.
Right.
We knew what all the landscaping was, and we just loved that neighborhood. We are in the village of DeLuna, so we're close to 301.
Right.
And our son lives in Winter Garden, so it's very easy to get us on the Florida highway.
Another
Turnpike.
benefit is the bond is slightly lower.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Bond
So
is
there's
low,
another
so-
thing,
Yep.
keep that in mind, because if you are negotiating with a pre-owned, there are many homes who the bond's already paid for.
Mhm.
So that's sometimes an advantage as you look at things.
And then our neighbors provided us with
Whoops.
vendors.
Oh, okay. I'm
With
sorry.
valuable information about vendors and the overall vibe of village life. So
Mm-hmm.
that was very helpful.
Well, you guys, your upgrades were superb. I mean,
Yes.
As I said, the previous owners, they didn't scrimp. They did a really nice job.
yes.
During the construction, they added a foot to the garage. They doubled the size of the outside patio. There was so many upgrades. So they put instant hot water in the kitchen. It's pretty cool.
And the
Oh,
other
that's-
thing we like is having all the pocket doors. And like you
Yes.
guys wanted the second and third bedroom together. For
Right.
us, we want the
We
one
want them
bedroom
separately.
and the bathroom separate because we're gonna have guests.
Right.
And then Paul uses the other bedroom as an office.
Got
So
it.
it works out great for us.
And
Yeah.
as we rave about all the upgrades that the previous owner had put in that we get to enjoy, we've been here for 10 months now.
Yeah.
Things that we've done, we didn't close the lanai. Coming out of New England, we had no appreciation for Florida humidity and Florida thunderstorms. So we got wet pretty
Right.
quick. So we decided to close the lanai, put in a mini split. We did tile the floor up in the lanai,
Yeah.
so that's just expansive living space. We just love it out there.
Mhm.
And we upgraded a few things in the shower. Next week, just like I think today, I think you guys just had your backsplash in your house.
Backsplash.
We've got the same guy on their recommendation. We've got the same guy putting a backsplash on ours. But again, at this point, we would consider those things more cosmetic.
Right.
Yeah, we got a lot.
Yeah.
So that's kind of why
A lot of the
we
high
love
dollar
being a
ones,
pre-owned.
a lot of the high dollar ones have been done for you guys. That's Margaret
Mhm.
brings up a great point here. She's with her home, her bond was paid, and I mean
Mhm.
just right off the top, I
that's a
think
big
our
thing.
bond was 40 something thousand.
Yeah.
So
Mhm.
and with a golf view,
Yeah.
you're not having to go through the lottery process, and
Right.
so that's huge
Yeah.
as well.
That's-
yeah.
For
Yeah.
water or golf
Yep.
view.
I think it is. Yeah, and it says she also said down here that they avoided paying for upgrades by buying pre-owned,
Yeah.
Right.
and like you're talking
Mhm.
about.
Yep.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's a lot of ways to skin this cat,
Mhm.
Yep.
Yeah.
and you
Yeah.
just gotta
You got to be on it
Yeah.
though if you're gonna.
yeah,
the
you
right
gotta know
cat,
what
because
you're.
it's gonna go if it's a good deal like that. She
You know,
sounds
when
like
you
she
make
got a
that
good
decision,
deal.
you gotta
Yeah.
be committed to it.
Yeah.
So
And that was
Mhm.
for ours buying low to begin with, because we had the second home, then we could, over a
We'd
period of
upgrade when we
time,
wanted to.
Mhm.
add those upgrades, and so,
And then we added it up and put it with the price of the house, so we were prepared.
Yep.
yeah.
So kind of if you're thinking new, just save out that chunk that you
Mhm.
might need.
Yes.
Yeah.
Especially
And
for the
you-
water filtration
Yeah.
systems, you
Yeah.
absolutely have to have it
Yeah.
here.
We think so.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're
And keep in mind, when you're buying pre-owned, it's like buying a house anywhere else. You can negotiate with the buyer depending on what their situation is. They may be highly motivated. You might be able to get a pretty good deal on a well-appointed home because they need to move for whatever their reasons are. So negotiation is a big part of that.
Right.
Mhm. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So okay, anything else, Paul and Donna?
No.
Okay, great
I
job.
think we're good.
Where are we at on questions? There's this April Franklin. She said she misses us.
Yeah. I think someone stole her account.
Yeah,
So-
They probably
I think
did.
April's been hacked.
They hacked her. We love her too.
Robert, I don't know the answer to that because I haven't sold.
What did he say?
Oh,
He's-
he's talking about actually buying too. It's,
Right, that the bond might be paid.
It's,
It's
again-
reflected in the original price of the bond.
Yeah. So
If I
More or
would again, opinion, not fact. I think you could probably negotiate that if it's MLS.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
With
Yeah.
pre-owned, you can probably negotiate because it's a cost of the house. Okay, if you still have, I don't know, make up a number, $10,000 left on the bond,
Yeah.
you can negotiate that into the price somehow.
yeah,
I'm
I
not
think
sure how
what
that
I
works
think
out
what
there.
Bobby's saying is say if the house was you're going to sell it for 350 and you owe say 50,000 on the bond,
Yeah.
then
Oh, the bond
you
stays
may
with the
be
house.
able to
Yeah.
you may be able to get closer to 400. I think that's
Yeah.
true to a certain point, but I don't know if you could. For us, we chose not to pay off the bond.
Yeah.
Yeah,
we
same
understood when we
No, we're
bought,
not paying
the
our
bond just
Yeah.
carries forward. So
Right, the
Yeah.
bond will
whatever,
always stay with the house.
the bond
Yeah.
stays
Yeah.
with the house.
Yeah, it's attached.
And then you also
Yeah.
only have certain time of year to pay off the bond if
Exactly.
you so
Mhm.
choose to.
Right.
Otherwise, it's in with your taxes.
Yeah, we're keeping us.
And then
So-
going back to the bond, it also goes back to the older homes that are further north, in Sumter and Spanish Springs. Those bonds quite possibly have been paid off by now.
Spanish Springs is
So,
special.
yeah.
Okay.
But the flip side of that is you have other expenses like roofs and things to think about. So it's a lot to
Mhm.
take in.
Oh, congratulations, Todd and Cecile.
Todd and Cecile.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Accepted offer
That's
on their on their house. Yeah, we've been back and forth with them on comments and different
veranda.
discussions. So they're heading down this summer, I
Yep.
think. And they've also got a YouTube channel.
Oh,
They've
really?
done some videos on their visits. So we've
Oh,
seen their.
nice.
So shout out to Todd and
Yeah,
Cecile for sure.
congratulations. That's
Yeah.
exciting.
Look forward to meeting them in
Veranda.
person. Yeah.
That's,
Eaton. Yeah, we've got some Eaton veranda, right? Yeah, there's a bunch.
Correct, Mindy. That's
There's a pre-owned
Way
one
up
for
there.
sale in the Lake Denham Miranda's West on the MLS market. So
So
sure is.
have we persuaded you to buy the pre-owned?
Yeah, and I just when I was coming here, I'll
None of
mention
us are accepting offers right now.
just coming here, I was just kind of riding around a little bit, and I went over to the Edenfield area and down through Oak
Mhm.
Hollow. It looks like there's a lot of space for veranda homes.
Yep.
Mhm.
there's a lot of walls.
Yep.
A lot of walls over there.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. So okay. Yeah. Good. And Mindy puts all bonds in districts 1 and 2 are paid off. Historic area never had bonds. Yep.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks, Mindy.
Okay. Yep. Okay.
Oh, I didn't realize that. Historic area never had bonds.
Oh,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, most of those were manufactured
Manufactured
homes.
homes.
Way
Manufactured
back, yeah, way
homes,
back,
yeah.
Manufactured
way back in the
homes.
early days.
And yeah.
And I see that they're replacing them with homes too.
Mi-
A lot of
Mindy's
homes
our
are going-
northern
Okay.
correspondent.
Yes.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
She does great.
We're learning a lot from Mindy.
Yeah.
What district are you in, Mindy?
Yeah. She's near Spanish
She's
Springs.
One or two?
Santiago.
Santiago.
I'm not sure what district
Yeah.
that's in.
yeah, that's Spanish Springs, I believe.
Yeah. But we
No.
don't know which
You're right in
district
that
it's
area.
I
So
don't know the districts.
I know where the
Um,
rec center is up there. That's
okay.
That's a field trip.
So
have
let's
that
move.
one.
Yeah. So we're gonna move forward.
And then this is-
She's in
Um,
District 2. Oh,
okay.
nice.
Oh, okay.
So okay, let's look at some market resources and some takeaways. I'm going to mention a few things here. I'm not going to dwell on this, but I think it's always good to keep abreast of the market if you're coming here. These were 2 resources that were really helpful for us. Dave Monty is a realtor. He has a YouTube channel, and he is an MLS realtor. He's the first one we met with. And then he actually referred us to Daniel Collins, as he said, you need a Villages real agent too. I recommend Daniel Collins. That's how we found Daniel Collins. He's got a May market analysis, which I think is very good for what's going on right now in the pre-owned market. And I'll mention, you see the things here, they'll be in the notes, but he says, and he has very good trend analysis. Okay. And he says this about the South. He says the South has the amenities, which is the Villages infrastructure fun stuff.
Yep.
Okay. But no conveniences.
Exactly.
So we don't have the shopping, we don't have the docks, we
Right.
don't have the professional
Yeah.
as much.
As much.
So it's trailing.
Yeah.
And he also says that the demand in the pre-owned market is flat. In other words, sales are pretty steady,
Mhm.
but what's happening is the supply is increasing. So more people are listing their homes.
Right.
Okay. So that's what's amping up the market here. So and then another one is another realtor has a YouTube channel. David is in Florida. If you want a week-to-week data analysis, he gives it to you, and really interesting stuff. And he does, and he basically says listings exceed sales, and sold price per square foot is dropping. He's tracking
Okay.
the sold price per square foot coming down, and he has real good charts. It's buyer's eye candy, some really good buyer's eye candy.
Mm.
Okay, so I recommend those guys. No, there's no kickback here. And here again, the VLS, if you can get a hold of the VLS market update that comes out every quarter, it's really good to see what's going on with the villages. Okay, and we got a little bit to come from that. Going to switch on over to the next slide, and I think Rick and Angel are going to look at this briefly.
Yep.
Looking at the VLS market over the last year.
Yeah, so the first graph you see there is going to be the pre-owned homes and villages closed, or villas closed, and the new homes closed. And you can see that the throughout the year that the new homes, having trouble with my colors here, the new homes actually increased throughout the year, where the pre-owned dropped in the beginning and stayed fairly stable.
Mhm.
And then on our next one there, we got the sales price, and you can see the pre-owned sales price. It gradually increased throughout the year, and the Villages, about 3/4 of the way through last year, they dropped their prices. You can see their
Mhm.
average prices. So that leads us into the next one on the days on the market. So you can see that the pre-owned homes, they increased in days on the market, where the average new home decreased with the price decrease. So
Mhm.
that's so with the Villages, with them adjusting their prices to bring down the average sale price, it had a direct impact on the number sold and the days on the market.
Mhm.
So
Okay, good deal. Thanks, guys. And then we're looking at the current market availability.
Some of the current market, the pre-owns, and again, if you're looking for pre-owned, you really need to double your chances for success by looking at VLS, Village Listing Services,
Mhm.
and as well as MLS. So if you do that, you're going to be working with two different agents, brokers. I guess in the Villages they call them
Sales agents. I
sales
think.
agents,
Because you won't see
they're not
the
they're not
BLS.
but if you're
on
looking for
Zillow.
those, you're really going to be working for two different people. That's what I think what you guys did initially. You worked
Mhm.
with
Yeah.
a VL.
Yeah.
Yep.
So so you can see right now that there's, as of just a couple of days ago, there's well over 1,500 homes for sale. Now that sounds like a huge number, and quite frankly, it is. But relative to, I don't even know how many homes are in the Villages, but it's got to be a big number. So it's probably a single digit percentage of the homes that are available. And then the other question is like, why are there so many available? In many cases, because people who are already here came down and then decided they wanted to move into Eastport. They wanted a bigger home. They decided what they wanted 2 or 3, 4 years ago isn't what they want today. They want to get on a golf course. They want conservation. So don't be afraid when you see that the big numbers there. So there's right now, as of yesterday, there's over 1,700 homes to pick from. Yeah.
a good thing to note, I don't know if I've heard of anyone moving out of the Villages, with the exception of maybe health reasons, going back to.
Except the guy we bought our house from. Fortunately, he did.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Went
And
to another community in Ocala.
yeah, that's I'm sure it happens. I just don't hear about it. But
So
Yeah,
Kristen-
my cousin and his wife have lived in the Villages for 18 years, and one of their favorite stories is that they've seen so many people and seen the growth of the Villages that people come down, they either buy too big or too small.
yeah,
And once they get there, they say, "Oh, we've got to go big, we got to go small."
right.
And then they say, "Oh no, I really do want that golf course. So I really do want that waterfront." And how many people just as soon as that 1 year restriction of you can't sell your house for the first year, the 1 year and 1 day later they put it on the market.
Well, they're actually
Yeah.
putting them on the market beforehand and
Oh.
closing at
And
the
then closing
365
after
day
1 year.
after they're putting
Yeah.
on there.
Yeah.
So, and a lot of people may say, well, why do we have such a high number?
Yeah.
And I think it is. They just, a lot of people will get into a small home soon
To
just
get here.
just to get in here.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then they either meet friends through clubs or
Yep.
whatnot. And they're like, oh, you live in Monarch Grove. I want to live next to you.
Well, I
And
think
a
a lot of
house
there's a lot
goes
to
up.
do with it too, because
You're right.
some people are
Yeah.
forced, okay, well, we have to buy this house or else we're gonna lose out.
Yeah.
They
Right.
buy
Especially
it
if the
and they're not
property-
really crazy about it. They really had something else in mind. They lost the first two houses they really wanted.
And we were talking today. What did you say? That sound? It's not.
For the Villages. Again, it's not like any other place that we've lived.
Right. It's not about the
but
house.
No.
it's you're not really. You're buying the house, but you're buying the lifestyle
Yeah,
more
right.
than you're buying the house.
It's more like a
So,
resort here.
It
Yeah.
is.
And a lot of
and
people
it
are
truly
tired
is.
and they're like, oh, I don't want to move. I want it to be
Yeah.
the right one. And we
Yeah.
all want it to be the right
Yeah.
one.
Yeah.
But reality, it could change.
Yes.
So
And we post
And I
the
think the
quotes.
younger you are, you
Yeah.
tend
Yeah.
The
to,
more opportunity to grow. and
you
expand
tend
and
to
do
want
other
to buy
things.
something
Yeah.
else down the road.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, and your experience, what you get here,
Yeah,
has a factor, is a factor in it,
Right.
you know. Okay, let's look at a couple of questions here. There's one by Christina and Paul. I think so I'll go ahead and read it. How much do the local taxes affect your decisions on location? See homes, some homes vary with high taxes. Can the annual increase going up more quickly? Any thoughts on taxes?
Well,
we
in
knew
our
how
case, we
much-
came from Massachusetts, who we lovingly call Taxachusetts.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
we were already quite pleasantly surprised about the rates down
Okay.
here.
No, but
Um,
when we went in to look at the house, our realtor had a whole sheet on how much everything was going to
Yep.
cost. So we
Right.
knew what the taxes were.
Right.
Yep.
And then after you're here for a year, you get a homestead exemption,
Mhm.
Right.
which is
So
a good deal.
Make sure you take care of
Yeah.
that, folks, when you move down here. Get that
Yes.
homestead 1 year
You
later.
have to do it before March. Isn't it
Yeah.
March?
I think March 1st.
Yeah,
March,
do it before,
yeah.
go to,
Yeah.
if you're in Sumter County, it's at
Well,
the
that-
Gold
Well,
Dome.
actually, Sumter County sent us a letter
Yep.
telling us, you need to do
You
this
need to do
now.
this, yeah,
Oh,
right.
yeah.
Yeah, they're
So-
very good. They're very
Yeah.
user friendly.
Yeah,
These
we
tax
got,
offices
so we got a
are.
letter
Yeah.
stating,
Yeah.
because we thought we had done it when
Yeah.
we moved in, but I guess we didn't.
With all the excitement of
Yep.
everything else, we thought we had gotten it. And they
Yeah.
said, no, but you still have time. So
Yeah.
kudos for the county to reach
Yes.
out to the dumb
Yep.
taxpayers that didn't realize that we were
Yeah.
going to get a benefit. So
That's
Yeah, and each,
that's a
and
lot to say for the government.
yeah, and each county does have different taxes.
right. And I would
Mhm.
say we did take that into account when we
Mhm.
purchased, and Sumter County typically does have the lower
They do.
property
Do
taxes.
they?
Yeah.
But another thing I noticed, we were, goodness, I think we may have been at your house or something. Angel and April were comparing prices for the water,
Water.
and,
Yeah.
and
Water.
some different things. And you guys,
Because you have a usage and
some of your
You know.
utilities were lower than what ours is in this county.
Is that
So
right?
and
Yeah.
pretty significantly. I think it was
Wow.
40 or 50 bucks.
Okay.
So does it make up the difference? I don't know. But that is something that we did take in consideration.
but as far as utilities, where we came from, we're happy with them here. We're
Yeah.
all electric, and our electric bill was like maybe 116 this month.
Yeah.
So
Mhm.
I'm not going to complain.
Yeah. And gas, water heater in the new section if you're south of 44.
Yeah.
Which helps out.
Mhm.
And so
Sorry, we have gas.
and let's see. Yeah, Robert mentioned Sumter County taxes is the lowest. Lake County is a little more, and Mindy thinks that Marion is higher than that. And if you're in a city, there's going to be a city charge. Like we're in the city of Leesburg. You guys are in the city of Wildwood.
Mhm.
Yes.
So there's certain areas that are unincorporated.
Yeah, that's correct.
Yeah. So,
And
Yeah.
that's most of Sumter.
and let's see, Megan here says about the lottery
The lottery
process.
process is scary and frustrating.
Yeah.
Some people get it on the first try,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
many
Yeah.
don't.
And we
But I-
actually,
and I think a lot of people rent while they're doing that.
While they're
if
trying to
you are
find it.
dead set,
Yeah.
we've heard many people just go Airbnb
We've
Yeah.
met many
And-
people that
and
they've
sit
sold
there.
and then come
Yeah.
down here.
and
Mhm.
Right.
sell their
Yeah.
house and go to the Airbnb
Yep.
and just play that lottery until they
Yeah.
get their
Yeah.
land that they want.
We've
Yeah.
talked to folks who are on their 10th, 20th time.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
I
Oh,
go
yeah.
sick. I wouldn't.
Yeah.
That's too much
goodness.
for
Yeah.
one.
it's
Talk-
and then you talk to people that they got it on their first try.
It's-
It's
you know,
crazy.
it literally is.
Crapshoot.
It really
it
is random.
It is.
Hey, we're up to 52 folks.
Yeah.
Hey, thanks
Hey.
guys.
Hey,
All
guys.
right, you guys are rocking. Very active chat. We got to get moving.
Yep.
Yeah.
Hit that like button, please.
Yeah. So okay. Let me move forward. Okay, factors to consider. Okay, and as you're looking at this, and you'll notice our advantages, disadvantages center around a lot of these things. We'll put them up here for you guys to see. We're not going to go in depth. Things like the bond amount, which we've talked about. We haven't talked much about the construction traffic or dust in the Eastport area.
There's a
have
little
we?
bit of that down here.
Okay.
Yes, that's why
Yeah.
Everett is a little congested. He came down south to
Mm.
where all the construction
Oh.
is.
I'm very
it's
sensitive, you
not
know.
that-
Very
it's not-
sensitive.
We did have, yeah, we've had a couple of pretty major dust storms,
Mhm.
but
Mhm.
it's just one of those things that is part of it. And
Yep.
yep. we thought for ourselves, we thought, we're not going to be here full time anyway. Well, we don't really care
Oh,
about
yeah.
the construction. We don't care about the
It does
shopping.
go quick though. The
And,
first 6 months is pretty.
Famous last words, right?
Right, right.
Yeah.
I tolerate it. Yeah.
Yeah,
Tolerate it.
yeah.
Kim and Steve just asked, would any of you couples change anything about your purchases? We're actually going to talk about
Yeah.
that. in a
We're
couple
gonna get
minutes
there.
here. Wait,
We're gonna get there.
yeah.
Great question.
That question deserves its own slide, so we're going to
Yeah,
get to
it
that one.
does. And neighborhoods are important, right? Established neighborhood or proximity to
Mhm.
construction, expectation of interaction with neighbors.
Mhm.
That's
I would say that's probably one of the biggest
Mhm.
differences. I would think.
Mhm.
And there's exceptions to everything,
Right.
but I know for us it was a lot easier to make those connections because everybody was searching for those
Sure.
connections,
Yeah.
and at the same time, and I tell you, we are just so grateful for the folks that we have met here,
Mhm.
and it's just really humbling the people that you meet, and just you get into that more than surface level, and you start doing your hobbies with them, you start going to church with them, you start
Yep.
going to their house for dinner and that kind of thing. So
It's incredibly welcoming.
Yeah.
yes.
I
Yeah.
didn't have that experience. I mean, we have very nice neighbors, and we've met
Moving
lot
into
of
an
the
existing
red-
neighborhood.
but we've met most of our friends at the golf course.
Right.
Yeah.
Hey, and there's a shameless plug. We're trying to make this easier on everybody. We're with the social club that we've started up.
Yes.
And,
Yes.
and we were talking about that before we went live, that we've hung out, went and played trivia with a couple that we met. You guys have played golf.
Yeah, so once you decide what house you're going to live in, you get down here, join the club.
Yes,
Literally.
Yeah.
Dip your toes and everything.
Yeah.
You're right. Shameless plug.
Yep.
Yeah, let's do it. So, okay. So great. We're going to go on into new home advantages. Okay. And there's quite a list there. And I think everybody just kind of pick one out that you want to discuss. And I would say, I think it really is, to me, a blank slate.
Yep.
To make it your own, without having to undo the previous owner's preferences. Now, you guys got a home that there wasn't anything you needed to undo,
No,
No.
which is really good.
We didn't change one thing they've done. We just added to it.
Added to it. And
Yeah.
that's an ideal scenario.
We were
Well, the only thing
incredibly
we are doing
fortunate.
is taking out the carpets in our bedroom in the office.
Yeah, again, that's more of a
Mhm.
cosmetic
Putting in
choice.
tile.
The carpet
That's
doesn't
the
need to
only
be
thing we're
returned. We just
doing.
want to do it.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, and I think for us, we've lived in military housing and all over the world, and we were just ready for somebody. Now, you guys had built houses, and,
Yeah, we have.
and
Yeah.
we hadn't done that in a long time, and we were
Because
kind
we're
of ready for that.
globe-trotting.
Yeah.
Yeah. Out there serving Jesus in the country. So, so what about you guys? What's the big advantage for you all?
I'd say for us, it would be a
Mhm.
combination of the top two there.
Okay.
Number one, the low cost of entry.
Yep.
We talked about that
Mhm.
with it being, a second home, and really just the lack of any kind of maintenance, because we thought we weren't going to be here, full time. So
Mhm.
I'm gonna have to say that we're close to Disney.
Oh, okay. Okay.
That is and when they said they're gonna keep building 20 years south, I'm like, oh boy, because it's closer to Disney.
Yeah.
So maybe in our 60s and 70s we'll be on the
Mhm.
cusp of Disney World.
Are you in your 30s now?
Yeah.
You said 20 more years.
If,
Oh,
the-
no,
if the villages keep building into space, you'll be
No,
next to
60,
Mickey's house.
60.
Yeah.
next.
That's right.
Yeah. We just get kind of get
That tells you how young
grandfathered
they
in.
are.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else on there on the new stands out to
We
you
can't
guys?
speak to it
We
being
can't
Okay.
speak-
new.
We can't
Got
speak to new.
All we know about new is to listen to you guys.
Okay.
Oh, I would,
Go ahead.
one
Oh, the
thing that,
neighbors, yeah. They're-
so we've run into a couple people that are installing pools, and they have all said that it's better on the build. If you're
Yep.
building it, go ahead and get that pool put in,
Mm-hmm.
because when you wait and do it afterwards,
Yep.
that is it could be a year
Yeah, that's what we've heard. Yeah,
process.
yeah.
Like they come and do a piece of it.
Isn't
and
your
then
neighbor going
they do
through
it.
that?
Oh, it's a
So-
horror story.
Yeah.
It's a thing.
I could-
So if you could do it while you're building and get
Yes.
that in there.
And I know, I mean, I know there was a pool builder here that had a lot of pools going. And I know this from a local source,
Mhm.
okay? That was drawing these pools for this pool builder. And this pool builder went belly up, and a bunch of people were sitting with a half
Oh,
completed
no.
pool.
no.
And
Wow.
you got to watch who
Yeah.
you contract.
Yeah.
You got to watch
Wow.
it, because he left a lot of people high and dry
Yeah.
with a lot of money out of pocket. So,
Yeah.
yeah. And we may not hit, okay, we're going to go on further here on disadvantages of new home. And we may go a little bit over if that's okay with you guys. But
That works
we're
for
gonna
us.
kind of move forward as much as we can. Okay, so new home disadvantages. And, we were going to do a VA loan on the home, and we had to adjust some of our finances because when we were looking at pre-owned, you can do a VA loan,
Yeah.
and it works really good. And new home, for whatever reason, the villages don't wait for the VA process on a new home. So, yeah, and you had mentioned this was on your list. I hadn't gotten it. So,
Right.
so I think that stands out for us. And yeah.
And just the ongoing construction.
Mhm.
I mean, we
Mhm.
came in expecting it, but honestly, it does get a little aggravating sometimes. Having to weave in between cars and stuff. But it's almost
Just driving over to get to your house, they had to drive around a front end loader going down the
Yeah.
middle of the road.
Yeah.
Oh,
We
yeah.
bought a spec house, and so a lot of the neighborhoods, if they'll have the spec houses all done, and then you go in, and then it will go in waves. You'll have the
Mhm.
landscapers, and then you'll have the door guy, the gutter
Yeah.
guy, and you'll see
Right, yeah.
the driveway people will come, and
Oh,
they'll
yeah.
so you'll see these waves where everyone kind of catches on and likes what the person did, so then they'll use them. But I'd say 6 months. The majority of that crazy is,
Look what Denise wrote. You'll like that, Angel. My husband and I said we're going to move again when we can see
Yay!
Disney
We'll be
fireworks. from
neighbors.
the backyard.
Oh man. Well, you can see the launches for your backyard.
Yes,
You
we
can
can
see
see
the
the
launches.
You can see the
launches.
launches.
We can see launches from our
So-
We'll
backyard.
go out the
Yeah.
front door
Yeah.
and you choom right there.
We don't have to do anything. We just look out the window.
Yeah, and we have and there's an
Yeah.
app that
Yeah.
lets us know. So
Yep.
that way, if you gotta,
Okay.
there's an app
All
for
right.
that. Oh,
So-
and don't be afraid of the bond. We were unfamiliar
Yeah.
with bonds, but
We
they
were
take
too.
the bond
Yeah.
and it's, it'll work. Don't be scared of it.
It's calculated what for 20 years? Is that
32 years.
32 years.
It's,
Okay.
And then they divide it up, and by the
Mhm.
time you're looking at it, it's about 3,200
Yeah.
a year.
I think.
And whenever we went to
Yeah.
an open house today, looking for Lisa and Jerry to get down here.
Oh, come on, let's go.
But I did notice on one of the papers that the bond was $3,297 annually.
Annually.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and I don't quote me on this. It's from memory, but I think that it's at a 5% interest
Mhm.
rate. As
Yeah,
well.
most of them that I've seen
Yeah.
recently
And they
have been right
recommend
around
holding
5.
it just for 3 to 5 years to make
Mhm.
sure that's, this is the house.
Yep.
'Cause,
You don't want to pay off a bond and then
Yeah.
sell it.
Yeah.
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 Yep. Okay. All right. So let's switch to pre-owned. Advantages of pre-owned. Okay, I'll mention you can do a VA loan, which is helpful for a lot of people.
Mhm.
Most of
And
the other things we've touched on
And you can
already,
negotiate
the
the
negotiating
price.
of the price, the upgrades usually completed. Turnkey, there's a lot of folks
Yeah.
are looking for that.
they
They
are.
really
Right.
do want to just walk in the front door and sit down,
Right.
Mhm.
Yeah.
ready
Yeah.
to go. So that's certainly there.
Yeah.
I think the vibe of the village is a line that we came up with. You kind of know what you're getting into.
Right.
Yeah.
There was a time when we did look at a few new homes just in case we had a trouble with selling our home back in Cape Cod. And that's when we saw all the new construction, and so we didn't know what the vibe was. We were not unable to visualize what it was going to look like when it was done.
We agreed that
Yeah.
if we lost the house, we were going to go back and look at pre-owns.
Yeah. We were going to go back and do that.
Right.
Mhm.
So most of the other things that we've already talked about, we're away from any of the construction,
Right.
and certainly a big selection of homes as we saw
And
in the
the
earlier slides.
conveniences.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I
Little bit-
think
we're a little bit
they're getting
closer,
those
yeah.
factors.
Because when we
Yeah.
got down
To
here,
consider.
the CVS was just being
Yep.
built.
Yep.
Now
Mhm.
it's all finished.
You're right.
So we moved down here in
Yep.
July, and the CVS opened up in February.
Yeah, and you're talking about the CVS in Magnolia.
In
And Magnolia
Magnolia,
Plaza.
Yeah,
yes.
Magnolia
Right.
Plaza.
Yes.
Yep.
And you got a Publix right there,
Yeah.
Oh,
which
yeah.
is
Publix,
cranking.
yeah,
The water store, I mean,
for those types of conveniences, it's a little
The
bit of a ride
breakfast
to go to a
place,
big box store and things,
cafe.
but it's really we're quite happy where we
the nail place,
yeah.
the hair
Yeah.
salon. I mean,
Yeah. Okay.
are.
So let's look at pre-owned disadvantages. Okay.
And again,
So-
we've touched on a lot of those as well.
We have.
Yeah.
this
This-
is more expensive than new
Yeah.
homes.
Yeah.
But I think if you take the price of your home new and you
And
add in all the
factor in all the
things
other
we
things, yeah.
had
And that's-
done,
yeah.
You're right.
That's
what
how you
we
balance it
paid.
out.
That's
Yeah.
how we
So-
balanced it out.
Right.
So
Absolutely.
when folks, if you're looking at new and saying,
Yeah.
"Oh, gee, the asking price is so much cheaper," and they are.
They are.
And I think you guys just touched on this. You go back and factor in what else do you want to do to the house? Do you
Right.
want that pool? That's a
Right.
big
Yeah.
number.
And
Do
I
you,
think-
do you want
That's
this?
a-
All
And I
those
think
things,
you gave
yeah.
a lot of prices when,
Mhm.
a couple of weeks ago.
We did.
Yeah.
Yep.
And we figured it up today, and we've been in our house less than a year. And
Uh-huh.
we've got a smaller home too, so a lot of the things that we've done don't cost as much as a larger home.
Right.
But just for ours to date, we spent $20,675.
Mhm.
Okay.
So just on the upgrades that we've done, and there's still more that we want to do. So you're exactly right with
Yeah.
what you're saying.
Mm.
If you add that on to the price that you paid for the house, and then you add all those
Right.
add-ons.
For us,
Yeah.
it was cheaper than what we were looking at, though.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
for our
Good.
situation. Yeah.
Okay. So one thing in our preparation is age, and what's the impact of one's age? And here again, we've got 50s, 60s, 70s. Okay. For perfect disclosure here.
Yep.
On the home buying process, you guys talked about that before. Why don't you just kind of reiterate how your age and experience?
Yeah, for us, it was like, well, as we spoke about earlier,
Yeah.
we'd already built two houses. We designed and built them from scratch. Great experience. Been there, done that.
Went
you
through
know.
all the construction
Yeah.
with all the rest of the subdivision around
And
us.
so once we got here, and literally, again, we tell the same story, literally walking into an open house to kill time, had no interest in looking at the house, but we had a kill time. We walked in and looked at it and fell in love with it. That's why we're here.
Yeah.
We literally walked into a house and fell in love with it. Then we started doing okay, now we got the emotion of it. Now it's like, okay, now look at the hard numbers. And every number made sense for us. Taxes, there were less here than Massachusetts.
Oh, yeah.
We had family here. That was a
The
factor.
utilities and everything.
All of the upgrades. So maybe because we're 70. Now, having said that, I think we can both speak to this. We've had the good fortune of meeting people who are far younger than us. These guys are just a couple of years older than our kids, right? and let's not get carried away with it. Right? As recently as yesterday, I played golf and I got matched up with some guys, and I find out that they're in their 50s. And when they asked me my age, they started making fun of me. Then I tried to hit it harder because I had to keep up with the young guys. But I'll speak for us again. There just isn't any
You know this.
Everybody's the same.
That's
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah,
Even-
yeah.
They don't care.
We
you know,
talked about
we,
that.
we joke
Yeah.
about the 50s and 60s and 70s. We've met some folks that
Everybody we hang out with, you and the people we've golfed with, they're all young, much
Yeah,
younger than
yeah.
us. Yeah.
Yeah.
So-
You know, the thing, it's like I was saying the other day, you guys are a young
Yeah,
75.
we're
Yeah.
young at heart.
We'd
Yeah.
like to
And
think so.
most folks
And we're
that are
active.
here,
You,
I mean,
you
goodness.
said that a minute ago. You know, yes, you want the house, you want all the things around your house, but you come here for the lifestyle,
exactly.
right?
Yep.
Yes, it's a retirement community, but not really.
Right.
Not in the traditional. Oh, you're going to go
It's
sit in
more
the
like
old
a
folks' home.
Oh no,
No,
yeah,
no,
it
this
I
ain't
is-
would
that.
call this a
Yeah.
resort.
Yeah,
It's not
this
that.
is living a resort.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's right. People
They're
not
just-
going to work and
It's a
having time to
community
go
where
out.
people do not go to work.
Yep.
It's
And the
Done
folks
the
are still
work,
they're
yeah.
still working from home. They're
Yeah.
working from
Yeah.
home. And, yeah.
And that's a big difference too that you just brought up is when we were in Tennessee, then you know most of everybody that we knew they were still working. So it's not like we could go play golf or we could go do certain things during the day. Where here, the majority of the folks are not
Retired.
working, so you could do that,
Mhm.
and we haven't regretted one thing about it.
Good. Okay, let me hit a couple of comments here
Sure.
that you guys been
Yeah.
talking,
Okay.
and I'm gonna. Tim Reese mentioned. He said he'd love a new build, but how long before a designer home is ready? You can get a spec designer home any
all
day
day
of the
long.
week.
They're
Every day of the
ready. We
week.
saw some
You
today.
could close tomorrow if you got cash and move in the next day. And compared to pre-existing, here again, there's an inventory of ready-to-go spec homes
Yeah.
on the market if it fits you what you want. And here
I think
again,
cash
no,
takes 30
go
days
ahead.
to
No,
close.
I'm not 100% sure if we're reading this question
Okay.
exactly. Tim, are you asking about? We have a style of homes here called designer homes, but he may be thinking about
build.
a
Designing a
build.
home?
Okay, a build
Designing.
is, I think, 4 to 6 months.
I think so.
Yeah.
about that, I would
Depending on the
say.
house. And,
Yeah.
really,
If-
yeah.
Okay, good point. Good point. If you're building, Donald Milliken, they're pinning out of Bridgeport and DeSoto. Okay, that's up near Finney, right?
Air Force.
We're excited. Yes, retired Air Force. Cool.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you for your service. VA clinic is up north. Yes, very northern part of the Villages.
30
It
minutes.
is.
But good experience so far for me.
About 30.
I've had the best docs
Mhm.
there and had the best experiences at that clinic than I have.
Yep.
Now one thing I think this is probably where you're going
Yeah, you have a
is
choice.
considering where we're at so
Yeah.
far down
Yeah.
south.
Yep.
They gave us a choice of going with the
Tavares?
clinic in
Orlando region.
Tavares.
Tavares.
Yeah.
Tavares,
Tavares.
or which is, I guess their major hub is Orlando.
Orlando.
Yeah.
And
Mhm.
the major hub for the one up north in the Villages is Gainesboro,
Gainesville.
or Gainesville.
Mhm.
So it's we've been, or I've been extremely happy with it.
Yep. Very responsive.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Not a bad drive.
No, I mean, I duck out, get on the turnpike, go up, get off, hit 301, go up. I'm there in 30, 35 minutes, and I'm way south.
Yeah.
100 days
So-
to close.
So got it.
Oh, look at
okay.
that. Bobby says it's rewirement community.
Rewirement. Yeah, I was going to make comment of that.
There you go.
Okay.
Rewirement.
Rewire your life. I like
Rewire you? Okay,
Well done,
good.
Bobby.
Yeah. Tim says thank
So
you.
you get that out of a
Yes.
New Englander. That's good
I need
stuff.
to close within 100 days, so I'm assuming a new build would be too risky. A new build, probably within 100 days. Yeah.
Yeah.
Megan,
Thank you,
4 to 6
Cop
months after you win the lottery. Could be longer than if you have trouble. Okay. Okay. So let me go here. Okay. Quick question. are the lucrative days of flipping houses in the villages in the past. All these houses coming on the market, price per square foot. Quick answer.
I would say they're still available.
They're still available.
Not as plentiful maybe as there were,
Okay.
but you can still find a deal.
The
You have to
sod
be ready.
in
Yeah.
That's the key.
in
Have
discussion
your
last night.
real
Y'all
estate.
mentioned the prime views, right?
Yes.
You know, water view,
Mhm.
Golf view.
golf
Golf
view,
Golf views.
Yeah.
and
Conservation,
preserve view.
Yeah,
Yeah.
preserve.
If you
Yep.
get a house on those, a desirable house on those views, you can definitely show a significant
Yep.
appreciation
Yep.
very quickly.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay. All right. Good. So moving on, what would you do differently, Rick and Angel?
I love this house. We would bump it out and give us a golf cart garage with it.
Oh,
Yeah,
We
okay.
missed that. We,
Yeah.
we really do.
Okay.
We got a golf cart. We got a car. and
Yeah.
Yeah.
we-
And
That's-
it takes up your storage space.
Yeah, and something
Right.
that's
Storage.
different about the homes down here is they do not have closets. There's no front closets, side. There's
Well, not
not
like
the
what
design.
you're,
Yeah, not what you're used
not
to.
what you're used
Not-
to. No basements.
Yep.
That kind of
Yeah.
thing.
Okay.
What would you do? Anything?
We would do nothing differently.
Okay.
Yeah.
We have a coat closet. We
Right.
we love our house.
There's-
We wouldn't do
Mhm.
anything differently.
Not a thing.
No.
Just
Okay.
absolutely
No.
love where we are.
Great. And it's good to hear. And that's a
Turn
lot
the
of
heat
people.
down a little bit in the summer, maybe.
Well, Well, we'll talk. Yeah. And
But we
I
got
would
a mini
say
split now.
for April and I, what we would do differently is we would consider new earlier than we did.
No,
Okay.
Okay.
You kind of came because literally we didn't consider
Oh,
new until
Ashley.
September, and we secured the home the end of October. So we were only looking at new homes a little over a month. Okay. Before that, we were looking at all pre-owned. So I would consider new. I would just kind of broaden that aperture if you're locked into one or the other.
Right.
Okay. Broaden that aperture. Okay. Does that make sense? Did I get that correctly? Aperture.
There's
Okay.
an Ashley Simmons on here. She's a.
Okay. Oh, those Simmons. you
Hey,
know.
girl.
Look out for those Simmons.
Hi, Ashley.
Hi, Ashley.
Oh,
Yeah.
Keep looking at this and they're over there.
Um,
Hi.
Hey, we're up to 59 folks viewing. Thank you guys.
Yay.
Um,
Stay with us.
Don't forget
I've
to-
just put up and I did a little algorithm math. What would be the sweet spot? Okay. If there were a sweet spot between pre-owned and new and getting the features that we talked about. And this is kind of my creation. I got kind of a head nod last night. Y'all still agree with it? A 1 to 3 year old home that meets must-haves in an established neighborhood at a competitive price.
That's where we live.
So we
Yeah.
have
That's what
We're
you
in
got.
that house.
That's
Yep.
you got that
Yep.
house. We
Yep.
couldn't
And-
find that
Yeah,
house.
yeah.
But you got to be ready.
You
Yeah.
got to be ready.
You got,
Yeah,
you-
we
like,
searched
have
so
your-
hard. He said, "Oh, look,
If
open
you-
house. Let's walk in." We,
That
we
happens
worked
so
so
much.
hard.
Like, I'm just here with my friends to look, and
Yeah.
they buy a house, or I've just spilled my 401. There's my house. I mean,
Yeah.
but if you have that realtor and have your money ready
Yep.
and know what you know,
We bought a 2-year-old
You
house
can get a deal.
with everything we wanted,
Right, for sure.
and it was in a
And
nice
Jerry
neighborhood.
brings up a good point there,
Mhm.
and that if you the new home upgrades after you buy do not get amortized into your mortgage, so you're not paying
Oh.
interest on like
Yeah.
the
Good-
upgrades.
Good
Yeah.
point. He is an accountant, isn't he?
He is. He
Yeah.
is an
You're the
accountant.
man.
he's
That's
our number guy.
You're the man. Okay. Okay. So here again,
There you go, Bobby. Thanks for.
we're going to start shutting this down here. We got a few announcements here. What else before we begin to shut down? Any?
Just like, comment, and subscribe, and
Good
tell
man.
your friends.
Yeah.
How'd it go, Bobby? Thank you.
Yeah.
And April said, "Thank you, everyone, for the well wishes on getting well. She appreciates it." So,
Yeah.
We love you, April.
love you, miss
Miss
you.
you.
Miss you
Um,
so much.
Okay.
It's so much better when you're here.
It is. Tell you what, boy. And we're going to ask you guys to here again, like, comment, subscribe, put your experiences down in the comments. and share them with it, or any questions, and we'll come back into the comments later and answer
Tell
anything
us
that we
what kind of
missed.
house you bought and
Yep.
why you bought it. What were your likes and dislikes, and what did you learn after?
Exactly.
What
Or
was
you're
that
looking
process like?
for,
Yeah.
what
Yeah.
you might be able to
Yeah.
direct you towards a plan of one.
And they mentioned a Bridgeport earlier. I always like the Bridgeport design.
I don't think
I've
I've
never
ever
seen
seen
that
a
one.
Bridgeport.
There weren't many of them, but I remember looking at it thinking, I really like this.
I do like a burrowing
Okay.
owl if you can ever get a hold of one.
Burrowing owl.
Look at the
Yeah.
burrowing owl and
Wow.
the dove. Oh.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're looking now at our Natives Memorial Day observation and picnic. We're looking forward to this. Here again, briefly, go to our Facebook group, Facebook page. But Memorial Day, 10 a.m., Veterans Memorial Park, Spanish Springs. Be there early. Okay, be there early.
It's gonna be
We're going to
crowded.
gather up.
Yeah.
Just be there for the, just to observe and honor the fallen. Then we're going to gather at Ezo Rec Center, 12 o'clock to 4 o'clock. And we're going to have a special little time about 1 o'clock. We're going to toast the fallen there. Bring your food, bring your drinks, bring your chairs. Okay. And there's
We'll bring the fun.
bocce ball. And so we're looking forward to that. And I know Jim Freites, he's going to be there a little early to get the table for us. So here again, bring your own stuff. All right. And, you know, I'm appreciative for everybody joining us. What about you guys?
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Next club meeting.
I hope this
Yeah.
helps somebody.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes.
Next club meeting.
Next club meeting is going to be Thursday, June 19th, 6 p.m., Ezo Rec Center. Okay. Ezo Rec Center. And I think I may have it here. Let me see if I've, nope, that's the wrong one. Okay. All right. Sorry. I don't think I put it in, but yeah, Ezel Rec Center, 6 p.m. Thursday the 19th, and we'll announce that in the video next week. Give you the subject, and really love you guys to join us in person if you're here, or via video. We're going to make an attempt for a live. Okay, we're going to make that attempt. So I think we can do it. So, all right. Closing comments.
We miss April.
Yeah. Same here.
And Allie and Abby, shout out
Yeah.
to them.
Hi,
Yeah.
babies.
Yeah, thanks for all the comments, folks.
Yeah.
It was really great.
Great
to kind of watch
interaction.
it.
Yeah.
You guys are awesome.
And thanks for the, you guys have filled in a lot of gaps.
They have.
Information and
Yep.
Like I said, Mindy's the northern correspondent.
Yes,
She is.
yes.
You're,
That's
you're a wealth of information, Mindy. Thank you.
Hey, it looks like she's going to be at our
Picnic.
picnic. So
That's nice.
That's
definitely
awesome.
I agree.
let us know
Yeah,
who you
right.
are. I'd love to meet you.
Her and Henry.
Yeah, we're gonna be
Okay.
there.
And unfortunately, Paul and I cannot be there. We have company coming for the week. Our granddaughter's graduating from high school, and her other grandparents are coming to
So
stay
we
with
got
us
a
for the
big
week.
family thing. So
Yeah.
And then we go out of country.
Yep.
for
We
a
will
week.
remember the fallen and miss
Yeah.
all of our buddies in the
Yeah.
Natives Club, but
Yeah.
be well. Make sure you guys turn out for that picnic. That's important.
Yeah. I think it's gonna be great.
Jerry and
Okay.
Lisa, get down here, please.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
And we'll pray for no rain.
Yes.
Ashley,
yeah.
here's your shout out, girl. Now go get your
Go get your
homework
homework.
No
done.
extra shout out.
Okay, guys. We see y'all.
Good night.
Appreciate it.
Right now. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.